My beloved child, this message found your screen for a reason. Archangel Michael says your current situation is about to change dramatically. God says respond now. These words are not random, and this moment is not ordinary. Something unseen aligned just now so that your eyes would meet this message. Heaven is interrupting your routine because what you are walking through cannot remain the same any longer. Hear this carefully. Archangel Michael is stepping forward with urgency, not fear, not chaos, but divine authority. He is saying that the season you are standing in has reached its final hour. The pressure you have felt, the confusion, the waiting, the silence, none of it was punishment. It was preparation. And now the atmosphere around your life is shifting faster than you expect. You have been asking God quietly, sometimes with words, sometimes only with tears. How long? Heaven has heard every whisper. Archangel Michael says the delay was not denial. It was strategy. What is about to change cannot be undone, cannot be reversed, and cannot be stopped once it begins. That is why this message came to you now and not yesterday, not tomorrow. There is a reason your current situation feels stretched to the breaking point. God allowed it to reach this moment so you would know it was His hand and not human help. You were never meant to fix this alone. You were meant to witness it transform. Archangel Michael is declaring that what looked locked is about to open suddenly, and what looked stable but wrong is about to be shaken loose. Do not ignore the stirring in your spirit. That tight feeling in your chest, that sudden awareness, that sense of this is for me, that is confirmation. God is asking for a response, not later, not someday, but now. A response of faith, not noise. A response of obedience, not panic. You are standing at a divine crossroads. One direction keeps you surviving. The other launches you into alignment. Archangel Michael is warning that hesitation in this hour could cost momentum. This does not mean fear. It means awareness. Heaven is moving quickly, and you are being invited to move with it. There had been spiritual resistance around you, subtle but heavy. Not because you are weak, but because what you carry threatens what had been comfortable for others. Some people around you sense the change before it happens, and that is why energy has shifted. Conversations feel different. Support feels thinner. This is not betrayal. It is separation before elevation. Archangel Michael says the change will be dramatic, but not chaotic. Sudden but not harmful. It will rearrange priorities, relationships, and direction. Some doors will close without explanation. Do not chase them. They are closing because God is answering prayers you prayed in private. What leaves now cannot follow you where you are going. Listen closely. God is not asking you to figure out every step. He is asking you to say yes before you see the full picture. Faith is required at this exact point because clarity comes after obedience. Archangel Michael stands as a protector over this transition, ensuring that what shifts does so under divine order. You may feel unqualified, tired, or uncertain. That does not disqualify you. It positions you. God specializes in sudden turnarounds that make no sense on paper but change everything in reality. What you thought would take years is about to move in moments. What felt stuck is about to gain speed. This message found you because heaven knows you were close to doubting the promise. Close to selling. Close to saying, maybe this is just how it is. But God says no. This is not the end of the story. This is the moment the page turns. Archangel Michael urges you to guard your words right now. Speak life, even if your emotions lag behind. Do not announce fear. Do not rehearse loss. Your voice carries weight in this season. What you agree with verbally can neither accelerate or resist what God is releasing. Pay attention to signs in the next few days. Small confirmations, unexpected messages, opportunities that feel unfamiliar but peaceful. These are markers. God is guiding you step by step, even if it feels fast. Trust does not mean understanding everything. It means moving when heaven nudges. This is why God says, respond now. Not with anxiety, but with alignment. Pray differently. Listen more closely. Release what you have been clinging to out of fear. The change coming will answer prayers you stopped praying because you got tired of waiting. Archangel Michael says you are protected in this shift. Nothing that belongs to you will be lost, and nothing meant to harm you will succeed. A dramatic change is not to break you, but to bring you into what you were always meant to walk in. Beloved one, what you are sensing right now is not imagination. The reason your heart feels alert, almost awakened, is because the spiritual atmosphere around you is responding to a command already released from heaven. Archangel Michael stands as a messenger of divine action, and he is revealing that the change approaching your life will not creep in quietly. It will announce itself through clarity, conviction, and unmistakable direction. You have been living in a season where answers felt delayed and outcomes felt uncertain. Yet God says the silence was never empty. It was filled with alignment happening beyond your sight. Every delay removed something that could not travel with you into what is next. That is why, when this shift begins, it will feel clean, decisive, and final. No confusion. No second guessing. Just movement. Archangel Michael says many of your struggles were not because of wrong decisions, but because of outdated positioning. You were faithful, consistent, and patient, yet placed where your gifts could not fully breathe. God is now relocating you spiritually, emotionally, and even practically. This is not abandonment of the past. It is completion. The chapter served its purpose. There is something important you must understand. When God says respond now, He is not rushing you into chaos. He is inviting you into agreement. Heaven moves where there is alignment. Your response is not about performance. It is about posture. A heart that says, I trust you even before I see proof. That posture unlocks acceleration. Some of you have been waiting for permission, validation, or reassurance from people who were never assigned to understand your calling. Archangel Michael says release the need to be explained. What God is about to do will explain itself. When the change happens, those who doubted will recognize the hand of God without you saying a word. Be attentive to what drains you in this season. Fatigue is often a sign of resistance, not weakness. God is removing unnecessary weight so you can move faster. Old obligations, emotional attachments, and repeated cycles are being exposed so they can be released. This is not loss. It is divine efficiency. Archangel Michael also warns that when dramatic change approaches, distraction tries to enter. The noise increases. Doubt speaks louder. Old fears resurface. This is not coincidence. It is confirmation that something real is unfolding. Guard your focus. What you give attention to right now will influence how smoothly this transition unfolds. Let your prayers shift from begging to agreement. Instead of asking if God will move, thank Him that He already has. Gratitude anchors faith. Expectation sharpens discernment. Speak as someone who knows heaven is involved, not as someone hoping for luck. And now hear this clearly. If this message is resonating, it is because you are spiritually aware enough to receive it. That means you also carry responsibility. Do not keep this moment to yourself. When you engage, you create momentum. Take a moment to like this message so it reaches others who are standing at the same crossroads. Share it with someone whose spirit needs confirmation. Comment your agreement, because spoken faith activates movement. And if you have not already, subscribe to this channel so you remain connected to these timely messages. This is not about a platform. It is about staying aligned with what God is saying now. Archangel Michael says consistency will matter after the change begins. Many people pray for transformation but disappear when instruction follows. Stay present. Stay teachable. Stay connected. Heaven honors those who remain positioned even after the breakthrough arrives. Some of you are about to receive news that alters your direction. It may come through a conversation, an email, or a sudden realization. Do not panic. Pause and listen. The peace of God will confirm the right move even if your mind needs time to catch up. Trust that peace more than pressure. There is also a healing component attached to this shift. Emotional wounds you thought you had learned to live with are about to lose their grip. God is not only changing your situation, He is restoring your perspective. You will no longer see yourself through past disappointments, but through present authority. Archangel Michael says your obedience now will protect you later. Choices made in this window will save you from unnecessary battles ahead. This is why responding matters. Not reacting, not rushing, but responding with clarity and faith. Stay alert over the next moments. What comes next will deepen this revelation and reveal how this dramatic change connects to your calling in ways you have not considered yet. Hold on, because what is about to be revealed will bring everything into sharper focus, and you will be glad you stayed with this message. Chosen one, there is a deeper layer to what is unfolding, and Archangel Michael is drawing your attention beneath the surface. The dramatic change you are about to experience is not only external, it is internal realignment. God is touching the roots, not just the branches. That is why emotions have been rising lately, memories resurfacing, old thoughts knocking unexpectedly. Navi is wrong. This is exposure before elevation. You are being prepared to carry something heavier than what you held before. Favor has weight. Authority has responsibility. Blessing requires structure. God is removing internal limits that would have collapsed under the pressure of what He is about to release. This is not about becoming someone else. It is about becoming fully yourself, without fear, without apology, without shrinking. Archangel Michael says the enemy tried to convince you that your sensitivity was weakness. In truth, it is discernment. You sense shifts before they happen. You feel when something is off. That awareness is about to protect you as God moves you into unfamiliar territory. Trust what you perceive in your spirit more than what you hear from uncertain voices. Some of you have been battling an internal war between comfort and calling. Comfort whispers, "Stay where you are. At least it is familiar." Calling speaks quietly but firmly, "There is more." God says the tension you feel is the sound of growth. If you were not close to change, you would not feel this pull so strongly. Archangel Michael reveals that certain patterns in your life were allowed to repeat until you learned discernment, not endurance. You were never meant to tolerate what drained you. You were meant to recognize it and step away. This is why the upcoming change will feel like relief before it feels like excitement. Peace will arrive first, then expansion. Pay attention to who suddenly distances themselves or becomes uncomfortable with your clarity. This is not your fault. Light disrupts what hides in shadows. God is not exposing others to shame them, but to free you. Not everyone is meant to walk into the next chapter with you. There is also a divine exchange happening. What you release now creates space for what God is sending. If you hold on too tightly to old expectations, you may miss new provision. Stay open. God rarely answers prayers the way we imagine, but He always answers them better. Archangel Michael says you are about to see why timing mattered so much. Had this change come earlier, you would have questioned it. Had it come later, you would have settled. But now, your spirit is mature enough to recognize it as God. This is perfect timing, not delay. Do not underestimate the power of small instructions in this season. A nudge to rest, a prompting to speak, a sense to weigh. Obedience at this level is not loud, but it is powerful. Heaven moves in response to alignment, not effort. God is also restoring confidence that was slowly worn down by disappointment. You did not lose faith, you learned caution. Now God is healing that caution so it does not become limitation. You are allowed to expect again. You are allowed to believe again. You are allowed to hope without bracing for impact. Archangel Michael declares that what is coming will validate the choices you made in obedience when no one was clapping. Every lonely decision, every quiet sacrifice, every time you chose integrity over ease is being remembered. God keeps precise records. Nothing was wasted. As this message continues, understand that heaven is not teasing you with possibility. It is preparing you for reality. The shift is real. The change is real. The protection is real. And your response matters more than ever. Now receive this activation. Type "I am ready for the shift" in the comments if this message is confirming what God hath been speaking to you. Blessing code 1144 has just been released over your obedience, your clarity, and your next steps. And hear this invitation as a sacred moment, not an interruption. As I speak these words, I feel the Lord saying, I am lighting lamps in dark places through this voice. When you choose to support this mission through Super Thanks, membership, or the PayPal link placed in the description, you are not giving to a channel. You are sowing into souls who are one message away from hope. Scripture says that when seed is placed into good ground, it produces a harvest pressed down and overflowing, and God is declaring that this seed becomes oil in your hands and fire in your future. I am inviting you personally to stand with me in this assignment, because this message reached you for a reason, and your action becomes part of the response heaven is calling for. As you give, I speak open heavens, multiply provision, and divine protection over your household. Do not delay what obedience is stirring in your spirit. Step into alignment now and release the seed. Precious one, now that the inner realignment has begun, Archangel Michael brings your attention to what will follow it. Change always reveals truth. Not the truth people speak, but the truth people live. As your situation begins to shift, clarity will sharpen, and you will start seeing intentions, motives, and patterns that were once blurred by emotion or hope. This clarity is a gift, not a burden. God is granting you discernment because where you are going requires accuracy. You will not have the luxury of confusion in the next season. Decisions will carry greater impact, and influence will expand. That is why heaven is training your perception now. You are learning to see beyond words and recognize fruit. Archangel Michael says some relationships were sustained by familiarity rather than purpose. When your environment changes, those connections will either evolve or dissolve. Do not fight this process. Forced alignment creates unnecessary pain. Allow God to sort what belongs from what has simply been present. You may notice that your tolerance for dysfunction is decreasing. What you once excused now irritates your spirit. This is not arrogance. It is growth. God is refining your standards so you do not settle for less than what matches your calling. Elevation requires boundaries. There will be moments when you feel lonely even while surrounded by people. This is temporary. God often creates space before sending the right connections. Isolation in this phase is not abandonment. It is preparation. Silence is shaping your voice. Archangel Michael is also addressing your courage. The upcoming change will require you to speak when it would be easier to stay quiet and to step forward when retreat feels safer. God is strengthening your backbone, not just your faith. Obedience without courage creates delay. Do not confuse discomfort with danger. Growth stretches identity. When you move beyond who you were, the unfamiliar can feel unsettling. But peace will remain, even when certainty does not. That peace is your confirmation. There is a warning embedded in this season. Do not carry old mindsets into new territory. Fear, scarcity thinking, and self-doubt cannot coexist with divine expansion. God is replacing survival thinking with stewardship thinking. You are not merely getting through life anymore. You are being entrusted with more. Archangel Michael says, watch how quickly situations resolve once alignment takes place. What was stuck will suddenly move. What was delayed will find its place. You will realize that much of the resistance was positional, not personal. Be mindful of nostalgia. The past will try to pull at your emotions, reminding you of comfort, familiarity, and moments of safety. Honor the memories, but do not revisit the environment. God does not call you forward to relive what He already completed. Your spiritual authority is increasing, and with it comes responsibility for your reactions. Emotional discipline will protect you. Not everything deserves your response. Not every opinion requires your explanation. Choose peace strategically. Archangel Michael also reveals that provision will accompany obedience. You are not stepping into lack. You are stepping into supply. God already prepared what you need for where you are going. Trust the source more than the method. There will be confirmation through peace, not pressure. God does not force His will. He invites. When you feel rushed, pause. When you feel anchored yet stretched, proceed. Heaven's guidance carries calm authority. Your prayers are shifting too. You will notice that you are asking for alignment rather than escape, wisdom rather than rescue. This is maturity. God answers mature prayers with greater trust. As you move forward, remember this. You are not late. You are not behind. And you are not missing anything. Everything is unfolding in divine order. The next revelation will show you how to walk confidently without looking back, and it will strengthen your ability to trust what you cannot yet see. Stay present, because what comes next will deepen your understanding of this dramatic change and how to navigate it with peace and authority. Beloved soul, Archangel Michael now draws your focus to the unseen battle that has been quietly taking place around your progress. Many of the delays you experienced were not because of disobedience, but because of resistance you could not see. Yet hear this clearly, that resistance has been confronted. Authority hath been released. What once blocked your movement no longer has permission to remain. You are stepping into a season where spiritual clarity will outpace confusion. You will begin to recognize patterns before they repeat, conversations before they happen, and outcomes before they unfold. This is not control. It is discernment sharpened by obedience. God is training you to move with wisdom, not reaction. Archangel Michael says there was a period when you doubted your ability to hear God clearly. The doubt did not come from failure. It came from fatigue. You were tired of hoping, tired of waiting, tired of believing without visible proof. God does not rebuke you for that. He renews you. And renewal is happening now. This next change will also expose what hath been draining your spiritual energy. Certain thoughts, habits, and even environments will suddenly feel heavy. That heaviness is information. It is God showing you what cannot continue if you are to walk freely. Release does not always come with closure, but it always comes with peace. Archangel Michael reveals that some opportunities you desired did not materialize because they would have limited you later. God closed doors you thought you needed so He could open doors you could not yet imagine. When the new path appears, you will understand why the old one had to end. Your confidence is being restored, but it will look different than before. This confidence is quiet, grounded, and unshakable. It does not need approval. It does not seek applause. It simply knows. God is building authority that comes from alignment, not from validation. There will be moments when you are tempted to explain yourself. Resist that urge. Explanation is not always necessary when God is evident. Let fruit speak. Let peace testify. Let consistency prove what words cannot. Archangel Michael also says guard your rest. As momentum increases, so will demands. Rest will keep you sharp. Exhaustion dulls discernment. God is teaching you sustainability, not burnout. Be aware that as your situation changes, others may project their fears onto you. This is not malice. It is unfamiliarity. Do not absorb what is not yours. Stay rooted in what God has spoken to you privately. You are entering a phase where obedience will feel simpler, not because decisions are easier, but because your discernment is clearer. You will know when to move and when to wait. This clarity is the reward of past faithfulness. Archangel Michael declares that joy will return in unexpected ways. Not loud excitement, but steady contentment. You will begin to enjoy moments again without anxiety about what comes next. This is healing. Your past mistakes will no longer define your confidence. God has already redeemed them. Stop revisiting what heaven has resolved. Forward movement requires forward focus. There is also a warning of subtle distraction. Do not allow busyness to replace intimacy with God. Progress without presence leads to emptiness. Stay connected. Stay listening. Stay grounded. You are not alone in this transition. Heaven is actively involved. Archangel Michael stands as a guardian over this process, ensuring that what unfolds does so with protection and purpose. What is ahead will require trust, but not blind trust. It will be confirmed through peace, alignment, and clarity. The next message will reveal how to maintain stability when change accelerates and how to remain anchored even as your environment transforms. Stay receptive, because this guidance will help you navigate the coming days with strength and wisdom. Beloved child, Archangel Michael now speaks about stability and motion, because the change God is releasing will not slow down to accommodate fear. He will move at the pace of obedience. Many people misunderstand stability and think it means stillness. But in the kingdom, stability means being anchored while moving. God is teaching you how to remain grounded even as everything around you shifts. You may already sense that life is picking up speed. Conversations are happening faster. Decisions are coming closer together. Opportunities are presenting themselves with urgency. This is not overwhelm, it is acceleration. What once took months to unfold may now happen in days. That is why God has been strengthening your discernment instead of giving you detailed explanations. Archangel Michael says this is a season where you must trust what you know over what you feel. Feelings will fluctuate, but truth remains constant. There will be days when the change excites you and days when it intimidates you. Neither emotion determines whether you are on the right path. Alignment does. You are learning how to move without overthinking. Overanalysis was a survival tool in past seasons. It kept you safe when clarity was low. But now, it can become a hindrance. God is shifting you from self-protection into God-dependence. This requires release. Be careful not to interpret unfamiliar peace as boredom. Peace does not always feel dramatic. Sometimes it feels quiet, steady, and uneventful. That does not mean nothing is happening. It means things are happening in order. Archangel Michael also reminds you that comparison will be tempting in this phase. You may look at others and wonder if you are moving too slowly or too quickly. Do not measure your journey against someone else's assignment. Speed is relative to purpose. God sets your pace intentionally. There will be moments when you outgrow spaces before you fully understand why. When that happens, do not linger out of loyalty. Loyalty that costs obedience creates delay. God honors faithfulness, but He also honors movement. Your words matter more now than before. Speak with intention. Avoid casual negativity. What you declare repeatedly becomes a direction. Archangel Michael urges you to speak as someone who expects alignment, not disappointment. Now pause here for a moment. If this message is helping you stay focused and grounded during a season of change, engage with it. Like this video so it reaches others who need stability right now. Share it with someone navigating uncertainty. Comment to declare your agreement, because agreement activates faith. And make sure you are subscribed to this channel so you remain connected to these timely messages. This is a moment where staying connected matters. Archangel Michael says staying spiritually nourished will be critical. Do not neglect prayer because things are improving. Improvement without intimacy leads to drift. Stay close. Stay listening. There may be moments when old fears try to resurface, reminding you of past failures or disappointments. These are echoes, not warnings. The past does not have authority in your present unless you invite it. Let it pass without engagement. You are also learning how to say no without guilt. Boundaries will protect your peace and your progress. God is not offended by your limits. He designed them. As change continues, you will notice that your tolerance for chaos decreases. You will crave simplicity, clarity, and order. This is alignment. God is organizing your inner world so your outer world can reflect it. Archangel Michael declares that your obedience is creating a ripple effect. Others will be affected by your courage, even if they never say it. Your decision to move forward is permission for someone else to believe again. Hold steady when things feel unfamiliar. Growth often feels like instability before it feels like strength. This is temporary. Before you move on, stay present. What is coming next will reveal how to protect what God is giving you and how to avoid subtle traps that appear after progress begins. Trust me, you will want to hear what comes next because it will help you keep what heaven is releasing into your life. Beloved one, Archangel Michael now brings a solemn yet empowering instruction because preservation is as important as progress. Many people experience breakthrough, but few know how to protect it. God is teaching you how to steward what is changing so that it does not leak away through distraction, fear, or misplaced trust. As momentum increases, subtle tests will appear. Not dramatic attacks, but quiet compromises. Invitations that look harmless. Conversations that seem casual. Habits that slowly erode focus. These are not meant to scare you, but to sharpen you. Discernment at this level is less about obvious danger and more about quiet deviation. Archangel Michael says you must guard your inner circle carefully now. Access is influence. Influence shapes direction. Not everyone who celebrates your progress is meant to advise your future. Be kind, but be selective. God is narrowing your circle to protect your assignment. You will notice that your intuition has become stronger. The thoughts come with clarity. Warnings arrive gently, but firmly. Do not dismiss them. This is the Holy Spirit guiding you in real time. Obedience here will save you time, energy, and unnecessary correction later. There is also refining of your motives happening. God is checking why you want what you are asking for. Not to deny you, but to align you. Pure motives sustain blessing. Mixed motives strain it. Let God cleanse your desires so they can carry longevity. Archangel Michael reminds you that humility will be your greatest shield. Confidence keeps you moving, but humility keeps you safe. When you remain teachable, correction becomes guidance instead of pain. Pride isolates. Humility attracts grace. You may feel a new resistance toward environments that thrive on gossip, negativity, or constant drama. This is not superiority, neither compatibility. Your spirit is adjusting to peace, and chaos no longer feels normal. Honor that shift. There will be moments when progress feels slower than expected. Do not interpret this as failure. Sometimes God slows the pace to secure the foundation. Speed without structure leads to collapse. Trust the timing even when it feels restrained. Archangel Michael also speaks about patience with yourself. You are learning new rhythms, new boundaries, new ways of thinking. Growth is not instant perfection. Give yourself grace as you adjust. God is patient with you. Mirror that patience inward. You are also being taught restraint in speech. Not every revelation is meant to be shared. Not every victory needs an announcement. Some things grow best in quiet. Let God decide what becomes visible and when. There is a warning about nostalgia disguised as reflection. Thinking about the past is not wrong, but longing for it can be dangerous. The past cannot support the future God is building. Respect where you came from, but do not dwell there. Archangel Michael says trust will be tested in small ways. Minor disappointments, slight delays, unexpected changes. These are not signs of misalignment. They are opportunities to deepen reliance on God rather than circumstances. You are developing spiritual stamina. Where you once reacted emotionally, you now respond with wisdom. Where you once rushed, you now pause. This is maturity taking root. God is also teaching you how to receive without guilt. Blessing is not a reward for suffering. It is a result of alignment. You do not need to justify what God gives you. Receive it with gratitude and responsibility. There will be moments when you feel misunderstood. These often the cost of growth. Do not shrink to be understood. Remain authentic. God understands fully, and that is sufficient. Archangel Michael declares that protection surrounds you, but protection does not replace wisdom. Walk carefully. Choose intentionally. Stay prayerful. These are not burdens. They are privileges of growth. As this change continues, remember that endurance matters more than excitement. Slow faithfulness outlasts fast enthusiasm. Stay steady. The next revelation will uncover how God is reshaping your identity in the season, and why who you are becoming matters more than what you are receiving. Stay with this message, because what comes next will bring deep confirmation to your spirit and strengthen you for what lies ahead. Beloved child, Archangel Michael now speaks about identity, because the greatest change God is releasing is not just around you, but within you. Situations shift, doors open, environments change, but if identity is not aligned, blessing becomes confusing instead of empowering. God is not only changing what you experience, He is redefining how you see yourself. You are stepping out of an identity shaped by survival and into one shaped by authority. Survival asks, how do I get through this? Authority asks, how do I steward this? That internal shift is happening quietly, yet powerfully. You may notice you no longer react the way you once did. Things that used to trigger fear now trigger discernment. Situations that once overwhelmed you now invite wisdom. Archangel Michael says you are shedding an old version of yourself that was formed in pressure. That version served its purpose, but it cannot lead you forward. God is not erasing your past. He is redeeming it. Every lesson, every delay, every disappointment is being woven into strength, not shame. There will be moments when you do not recognize yourself. Your responses will surprise you. Your calm will feel unfamiliar. Your confidence will feel quieter but deeper. This is not loss of passion. It is grounding. God is anchoring you so that success does not shake you and criticism does not derail you. You are also learning to separate your worth from outcomes. In the past, results determined how you felt about yourself. Now, alignment determines your peace. This is freedom. When identity is secure, circumstances lose their power to define you. Archangel Michael reveals that God is trusting you with influence, even if it does not look public yet. Influence begins in character before it appears in position. How you handle private moments will shape public impact. The season is building credibility in the unseen. There is also healing happening around rejection. You are realizing that many closed doors were not personal rejections, but divine redirections. What once felt like exclusion now feels like protection. God did not keep you out. He kept you for something else. You may feel a new boldness to say what needs to be said and to walk away from what no longer aligns. This is not hardness. It is clarity. Soft hearts can still have strong boundaries. God is teaching you that love does not require self-abandonment. Archangel Michael says your prayers are becoming more intentional. You are no longer asking God to prove himself. You are asking him to lead you. That shift signals trust. Trust invites partnership. Heaven moves fastest where partnership exists. Be aware that as identity strengthens, temptation to return to old validation patterns may surface. The urge to explain yourself. The need to be seen. The desire to be approved. Recognize these urges, but do not follow them. You no longer need permission to be who God has called you to be. You are becoming comfortable with being misunderstood. Not because you enjoy it, but because you no longer require agreement to move forward. God understands your heart. That is enough. Archangel Michael declares that the next phase of your life will require you to stand firmly in who you are, even when outcomes are uncertain. Identity will be your compass. When you know who you are, you will know where to go. This is also a season of naming. God is calling things out of you that you did not know how to articulate before. Purpose is becoming clear. Direction is sharpening. This clarity will guide your decisions more than emotion ever did. Now receive this declaration. Type "I walk in divine authority" in the comments if you are ready to step fully into who God is shaping you to be. Blessing code 2211 is now activated over your identity, your confidence, and your calling. And now hear this as a continuation of what God is doing, not a pause. As I share these revelations, I sense the Lord saying, those who help carry this message will share in its harvest. When you support this mission through super thanks, membership, or by sowing through the PayPal link in the description, you are planting seed into living soil where light is reaching searching hearts. The word declares that those who water will themselves be watered, and I speak that promise directly over you now. I am inviting you personally to respond, because this message about identity and change did not reach you by accident. and your support becomes part of God's response to others. As you give, I release blessing over your resources, clarity over your decisions, and strength over your household. Do not delay what obedience is stirring in your spirit. Act now, and let this seed speak for you. Beloved one, Archangel Michael now brings your attention to timing, because understanding timing will protect you from unnecessary anxiety. Many people become discouraged not because God is not moving, but because they expect movement to look a certain way. This season will teach you how God works in layers, not leaps, even when change feels sudden. You may notice that some things shift instantly while others unfold gradually. This is intentional. Immediate change builds faith. Gradual change builds endurance. God is working on both simultaneously within you. Do not measure progress by speed alone. Measure it by alignment and peace. Archangel Michael says impatience is the greatest enemy of this phase, not because waiting is hard, but because impatience creates pressure. Pressure leads to premature decisions. God is not asking you to rush. He is asking you to remain responsive. Responsiveness allows heaven to adjust details without disrupting direction. There will be moments when you feel ahead of your environment. You will sense clarity while others remain confused. Do not become frustrated. God often prepares the vessel before the surroundings catch up. Continue walking with humility and consistency. Be careful not to confuse stillness with stagnation. There will be quiet days where nothing visible happens. These days are stabilizing what has already shifted. Roots grow in silence. Foundations form out of sight. Trust what is happening beneath the surface. Archangel Michael reveals that God is also protecting you from burnout by controlling the pace. You asked for change, but you also need sustainability. God cares about your long-term health more than short-term excitement. He is not just answering prayers. He is designing a future. There is a temptation in this season to revisit old plans when progress feels slow. Resist that urge. Old strategies were built for old seasons. What worked before will not carry the weight of what is coming. God is giving you new methods, even if they feel unfamiliar. Your ability to wait with expectation rather than frustration is being refined. Expectation keeps faith alive. Frustration drains it. Choose expectation intentionally, even when answers are incomplete. Archangel Michael says you will receive confirmation through repetition. Similar messages from different sources. Repeated themes in prayer. Patterns in scripture. These are not coincidences. They are reinforcement. God speaks until you feel secure enough to move. You are also learning to rest without guilt. Rest is no longer avoidance. It is obedience. When you rest, you declare trust. God fills spaces where striving once lived. There will be moments when you feel the urge to control outcomes. Release that need. Control is often a response to past disappointment. God is healing that wound by showing you that His timing does not fail. Archangel Michael declares that when the next step becomes clear, it will not require persuasion. It will feel obvious, peaceful, and firm. Clarity from God does not shout. It settles. You are being trained to recognize divine timing without needing external validation. This is spiritual maturity. When God speaks, you move. When He is silent, you wait. Both are acts of faith. Do not let other people's urgency pressure you. Your timeline is not your assignment. Stay aligned with what God has shown you, even if it unfolds differently than expected. There is also joy returning to the waiting. You will find peace in knowing that you are exactly where you need to be. This contentment is not complacency, it is trust. Archangel Michael says you are closer than you think. Often, the greatest temptation to quit appears just before clarity arrives. Stay steady. Stay receptive. As this message continues, the next revelation will guide you on how to respond when doors open unexpectedly and how to move without fear when opportunity finally meets readiness. Remain present, because what comes next will help you step forward with confidence and wisdom. Beloved child, Archangel Michael now speaks about response, because when doors begin to open, how you move matters just as much as where you move. Many people pray for opportunity, but few are prepared for the responsibility that comes with it. God is not only opening paths, He is watching posture. The way you respond will determine how far the blessing flows. You are entering a phase where opportunities may arrive unexpectedly. Some will feel sudden. Others will feel long overdue. Do not assume that every open door requires immediate action. Discernment remains essential. God opens doors, but He also gives wisdom about timing and order. Pause long enough to listen before you step. Archangel Michael says fear will try to disguise itself as logic in this season. It will sound reasonable. It will remind you of past disappointments. It will suggest caution when God is inviting courage. Learn to distinguish between wisdom and fear. Wisdom brings peace even when it stretches you. Fear brings anxiety even when it feels safe. There will be moments when you feel unready. That feeling does not disqualify you. Readiness in the kingdom is not about having every answer. It is about willingness to obey. God fills gaps after you move, not before. Trust is built in motion. You may notice that some doors require you to leave familiar ground. Familiarity feels safe, but it can also limit growth. God is asking you to trust Him beyond what you can control. This is where faith becomes active rather than theoretical. Archangel Michael also warns against over-celebrating too early or oversharing too soon. Protect new beginnings with wisdom. Not every open door needs public commentary. Some things need time to establish roots before they are exposed. As you step forward, resistance may appear again, but it will feel different. It will be weaker, less convincing, easier to identify. That is because authority has increased. What once intimidated you will now test you lightly. Stand firm. Do not retreat. You are also learning how to manage momentum. Moving too fast can cause missteps. Moving too slow can create missed moments. God will guide your pace if you remain attentive. Listen daily. Adjust quickly. Stay flexible. Archangel Michael declares that obedience in this phase will produce visible fruit. Others will begin to notice change, not because you announce it, but because peace and clarity will follow you. Let that testimony speak on its own. Now pause here. If this message is helping you recognize how to respond wisely as doors begin to open, take a moment to engage. Like this video so this guidance reaches others standing at the edge of opportunity. Share it with someone who is praying for direction. Comment your agreement, because agreement strengthens faith. And if you have not subscribed yet, subscribe now so you stay connected to these prophetic messages as God continues to speak. This is one of those moments where staying connected truly matters. Archangel Michael says consistency after opportunity is what sustains blessing. Many people celebrate the door but neglect the discipline required to walk through it fully. Stay prayerful. Stay grounded. Stay humble. There will be times when progress brings pressure. Pressure does not mean you made the wrong move. It means capacity is expanding. God stretches what He trusts. Be mindful of your inner dialogue. Speak to yourself with truth, not fear. You are not behind. You are not late. You are prepared in ways you cannot yet see. Archangel Michael also says, do not underestimate small beginnings. Some doors will open quietly. Some opportunities will look modest. Do not despise them. God often hides expansion inside simplicity. You are learning how to partner with God rather than wait passively. Prayer and action are now walking together. This balance will define your next season. There may be moments when you wish someone from your past could see what God is doing now. Release that desire. Validation is not required for fulfillment. God sees. That is enough. As doors open, remain teachable. Correction will refine you, not reject you. Receive instruction without defensiveness. Growth requires humility. Archangel Michael declares that courage will rise when you need it. You do not have to manufacture bravery. Obedience will summon it. Stay present now. What comes next will reveal how to sustain momentum without losing peace and how to protect what God is building so it lasts. Keep watching, because this next revelation will help you hold on to what heaven is releasing into your life. Beloved one, Archangel Michael now brings your focus to endurance, because what God is building in this season is meant to last. Quick breakthroughs are exciting, but sustained fruit requires depth. Heaven is not interested in momentary success. It is establishing permanence. This is why your spirit has been trained gradually, layer by layer, moment by moment. You are entering a phase where consistency will matter more than intensity. There will be days that feel powerful and days that feel ordinary. Do not misinterpret the ordinary as insignificant. God often hides his greatest work inside routine faithfulness. Showing up, staying aligned, remaining obedient when nothing dramatic happens is what strengthens the foundation. Archangel Michael says this is the season where discipline replaces desperation. You are no longer crying out for direction the way you once did, because direction is becoming clearer. Now God is asking you to walk it out steadily. Maturity is not loud. It is reliable. There may be moments when excitement fades and responsibility increases. This is normal. Responsibility is a sign of trust. God does not entrust weighty things to unstable hands. He has been shaping your character so that what he gives you does not crush you. Be mindful of spiritual complacency. When things improve, the temptation is to relax your guard. Stay prayerful. Stay aware. Victory seasons require just as much discernment as battle seasons. Sometimes more. Archangel Michael warns gently that distraction will attempt to pull your attention away from what matters most. Not obvious distractions, but subtle ones. Busy schedules, endless tasks, harmless-looking obligations. None of these are evil, but too many of them can dilute focus. Choose what feeds your spirit, not just what fills your time. You are learning how to live from peace rather than chase it. Peace is no longer something you seek after decisions. It guides decisions. The shift will protect you from regret. There will be people who misunderstand your steadiness and mistake it for indifference. Let them. You are no longer moved by every opinion. God has anchored you. Archangel Michael also speaks about humility and success. As things stabilize and favor becomes visible, remember who sustained you when nothing was certain. Gratitude keeps doors open. Pride quietly closes them. You may notice that God is simplifying your life. Less noise, fewer voices, clear priorities. This is intentional. Simplicity creates space for longevity. Do not rush to the next thing just because you have momentum. Let each phase complete its work. The complete seasons create weak structures. God completes what he starts. There is also a healing happening in how you relate to pressure. Pressure no longer triggers panic. It activates focus. This is growth. You are becoming resilient, not reactive. Archangel Michael says your discernment will now protect others, not just you. People will seek your counsel. Be careful to speak from wisdom, not emotion. Carry responsibility with gentleness. You are also being taught how to celebrate without losing balance. Joy does not require excess. Gratitude does not need display. Let joy be rooted, not performative. There will be moments when old fears try to resurface, especially when things are going well. This is the mind adjusting to safety. Do not self-sabotage by expecting loss. God is teaching you how to live without bracing for impact. Archangel Michael declares that faithfulness in small things is producing authority in greater things. You may not see the full picture yet, but heaven does. Trust the process even when progress feels quiet. Be patient with outcomes. Results will mature in time. Fruit that ripens slowly lasts longer. As you continue forward, remember that God is not testing you. He is trusting you. This is not a trial to endure, but a path to walk. Stay attentive now. What comes next will bring closure to this message and seal what God has been speaking, reminding you how to remain aligned, grateful, and bold as this dramatic change fully settles into your life. Beloved child, this is the sealing moment. Archangel Michael now stands not to announce what is coming, but to affirm what has already begun. The dramatic change God spoke over your life is no longer approaching. It is active. Even if your eyes cannot yet see every detail, the shift has entered motion. Heaven does not reverse what it initiates. You are no longer waiting at the threshold. You have crossed it. What happens next is not about anticipation but embodiment. God is teaching you how to live from alignment instead of longing. The prayers that once carried desperation are now carrying authority. You are not asking anymore from a place of lack, but from a place of partnership. Archangel Michael says this is the season where you stop asking, "Will this last?" and start declaring, "This is established." Stability is being anchored into your life. Not temporary relief, not emotional highs, but rooted peace. The kind of peace that remains even when circumstances fluctuate. There will still be challenges, but they will not shake your identity. You are no longer easily disoriented. Discernment has matured. Faith has deepened. Obedience has become instinct. This is evidence of growth you did not even realize was happening. God wants you to understand something clearly now. The dramatic change was never just about fixing a problem. It was about positioning you for purpose. What He is doing in you will touch others through your decisions, your voice, your example, and your courage. Your life is becoming a living answer to prayers you did not know people were praying. Archangel Michael declares that fear no longer has the authority it once did. It may attempt to whisper, but it cannot command. You have learned how to listen without submitting. This is spiritual authority. You are also stepping into a rhythm of gratitude. Not forced gratitude, but genuine recognition of God's hand. Gratitude will keep your heart soft as your influence grows. Never lose that. There will be moments when you look back and barely recognize the version of yourself that struggled to believe this was possible. You not judge the verin. Honor it. It carried you here. God is also reminding you to remain responsive. Alignment is not a one-time decision. It is a daily posture. Continue to listen. Continue to obey. Continue to trust. Heaven will continue to guide. Archangel Michael says protection surrounds what God has built in you. Not because there will be no opposition, but because opposition no longer determines outcome. What God establishes stands. You are allowed to rest now. Not disengage, but rest. Trust that what God started, He will complete. You do not have to strive to maintain what grace established. Let this message settle into your spirit. Let peace replace anticipation. Let confidence replace uncertainty. Let obedience replace hesitation. Now receive this final activation. Type IT is established in the comments if you receive this message and step fully into what God has completed. Blessing code 9090 is now released over your life, your future, and your obedience. And now hear this as a holy continuation, not an ending. As this word reaches its close, I hear the Lord say, those who help carry this message will share in its eternal reward. I am speaking directly to you now. If this message strengthened your faith, clarified your direction, or confirmed what God has been whispering, your response matters. When you sow through Super Thanks, membership, or through the PayPal link placed in the description, you are not funding a video. You are fueling the spread of God's living word to souls who are one encounter away from hope. The scripture declares that whoever sows generously will reap generously, and I release that promise over you now as a prophetic covering. I am inviting you personally to act, because obedience in this moment carries weight beyond what you can see. As you give, I bless your resources, your household, and your future with divine increase, protection, and clarity. Do not delay. Respond now, and let this seed speak for you before heaven.